Saturday morning, and that's my garden. Let's go have a look. First frost of the year. Got the van running this morning, get that frost off and just warm it up a little bit. Yeah, it's in a little bit of a mess in here at the moment, so got to clean that up. So this is the foundations for a raised bed. This is going to be the kitchen area over on this side, and then we're going to have a feature wall along here. Got the Ruby machine in here, and I could get this out, but I'm trying to tidy the van up today. But I don't want to have this out in the frost and the weather, in the wet weather at the moment. Though it's sort of waterproof, it's got that testing they do on it with the wet weather. But I'm not going to get out today, but I'm going to try and tidy up a little bit later. Also, the other thing, of course, is that we had, let me explain this. Don't forget, there's a lot of talking today, isn't there? But don't forget, it's Remembrance weekend, so make sure you get your poppy. Let's remember. Well, I got my poppy on today. There you go. And set at 11 o'clock. So there it is, there's a Fending article on there. Look at his bins there and his cardboard, eh? He needs to recycle. So we've got to change the gate. Let's have a look at some of the components. You go in? Oh, good. So I thought that when the time lapse is on, for all these years, I thought I had to go at the same speed as the time lapse. I was working like Al then, like a rat digging out. No. So what we've got to do, we've got to put the post in here. It's good now. We've been able to dig down alongside here, but now it'll allow us to get to the posts to the correct height. And so we're concreting a little bit at the bottom, and then we'll fix through. So when you're using these, remember, you just put it on the slow cut, but try and oscillate it a little bit, because when it bites, it can really kick. So we're going to be using these to fix that post, and we're only going to need two, because as I said, the concrete underneath. But what this allows now, this allows the screw to go through there, okay? But what we're going to do, we need a smaller bit to drill another hole through there, so we're going to use this HSS to send that hole through, and then obviously the head's going to pull on there. And remember, this is only receiving. Ideally it'd have been good to actually hinge the gate against the house, but we don't need to do it. We don't need to do it because we want the gate opening on this side. Look at that. So this is the height that we've got for the gate. We've got a proper marker now. So if we look at that now, we can mark, this is going to be the height of the gate now. Not tall enough to see, so there you are. If you come around this side, you can actually see where the top of the gate's going to come. You can actually see that's where the door slam's going to be. So the gate's not going to be any higher than that, and so the gate slams are the same height as your gate. This is going to be the receiver on this side, so the gate slam we're going to put on this side is the receiver. Let's go and get that now. So you can see this is the gate slam, okay? Now, the gate obviously is going to shut this way, isn't it? Shut onto this, it's going to open inwards. So when it opens inwards, okay, if the wind caught over it, this may sound obvious to some people, but obviously we've got to be fair for everyone that's actually watching this now. The gate can slam against this and then it's not going to go through. If we look at this, and I filmed this earlier, if you look on there, you've got this little piece that's just that little bit longer, and then that's going to hold against the post. I'll just show you that, hold against the post here. So there we are, so it can't move that way, okay? It cannot move that way. Now you can see that's where the receivers are on here, okay? So we have to make sure that we put the lock on the gate, that we line it up correctly. So we've got to fix this on now. So what I would do is don't take it off all the way, is just peel it off to here. You see it on the back end here as well, okay? So you just don't want to scratch it. And unfortunately, things do get scratched, but let's just take it. We want to try and avoid that as much as possible. So there you are. There's one hole there. You can see we can fit through. Let's just pull that off. A bit of a pain, but they serve a purpose. So if we look at it now, on there, just keep it on that side just to protect it, okay? Let's show this now. So we've got several holes here that we can actually fix. We've got 4 in fact, okay? And probably what we need to do is put a screw in each one. So we're going to be using a self tap that's going to go straight through here. You can see the hole's bigger this side, but then there's a smaller hole the other side, and that's going to fix into there. So I want to show you all the components and get some close-up so you can actually see it, and hopefully we can tick all the boxes, but if I don't, you can just let me know about it. Let's have a look at the gate slam or the gate stop. So what we're going to do, I'm not going to concrete it yet because I want to get the slam in place, okay? And then we're concrete because, I could put that on now, but I want to get this one in place first. So this is where all your door fittings will come. In a box like this, it will come separately, okay? And it says box 2, box 1, and box 3, and it'll tell you what's in there. There's the gate there. So let's open this up on the patio and see what we got. It's almost like putting some IKEA furniture together. So I cut like that now because I know what's actually inside here, so I just don't want it before. So let's have a look what we've got here. So there's probably more bits than what you realise. So in here, in this box here, the main bit, you can actually see this is the locking mechanisms for the uprights and the jambs going across, okay? So there we are, you'll be able to see, I'll explain all this, and that's the thing about on the video, is that you'll see which way these go in, and that's what they never showed before. So if you look at this is what I want to show you, okay? You can see you've got this component here, and you see you've got it here. And what happens is, look at the nuts on the back. So what you do, you undo these, then this plastic insert goes inside your upright, and then this metal piece comes across. But you've got to decide which way round these have to be. And on the previous video, though I never done it, that isn't clear. But have a quick look at those parts there, and you'll see this going together now. So hope I'm explaining this correctly. Really strong. So we've got 4 parts in here. We got these 2, okay, which is going to go on the gate that's going to receive the locking mechanism. And on the hinge side, this is where they're a little bit different, but don't worry, okay. So this goes on the receiver part, on the right hand side in this case. And these here, okay, these here, this is the hinge bit, because this is what you're going to fix your hinge to, there. When we look at this bit here now, we know this bit goes on the outside, okay, on the top side of the gate. This goes on the inside, that smooth bit. And what happens is that you have these caps then to cap this off. So if you look at that now, very simple. I just put it on just to try it. There you are, look. It's quite neat really, isn't it? you know, and that's on the top. So, you know, and this is where I couldn't see before on the video, whether that went on the inside. They didn't explain that. So if you look at this, it's got these little locking bits there. But you've got to make sure that the distance from there to there is different. And basically the wider distance goes on the outside. So let's put that on there and just show you. I hope so. They are straight on, no problem at all. Try and keep these nice and clean because they will get scratched. Right, there to one side. These here are the south tappers that we're going to use to actually fix the gate slams to the post. Now, a lot of people say, well, it's not rocket science, but to some people, they just want a little bit of help. That's why we're making this video now. What else we have in this box? We have a full manual, and remember there's a video online that Durapost has got. Everything's explained in there. You can see which is up, which is down, which is right, which is left, etc. Go through it. Just got to keep reading it. A lot of people would set out all this on the floor, but the trouble is about setting everything out on the floor that you're going to end up with components and extra screws that you didn't realise, and then it gets a bit confusing. I think what you've got to do is watch one of these videos and just check it as you go. These are the closures. I'm going to explain to you about these closures as well. So we got to make sure. This is the other thing. This is so important as well, and because I never done it on the first install. These are the closures. This is the receiver for the locking system. Okay, they've got a plastic cover on to protect it again. They look really smart, like stainless steel finish. So there's your receiver there, and there's the blank one, which probably go at the bottom. So it just closes it all off. It gives you the option between the heights of the gates, you see, whether you want a high gate or a low gate. The other thing, of course, is you've got these lugs here. So what we have to do, we have to fit this to the receiver straight away, and then tap these down before we fit the gate slam to the post. So those lugs need to be banged over, and then of course little self tapping screw, and we screw those in position. Make sure you use the right screws, the right cutting bit, because otherwise once you drill that hole you're gonna have to use a bigger screw. And in here as well we've got the handles. I'll explain about those as well. In mine, they got wet, they were sat around for a while, and they had a little bit of rust on the inside. So we're going to give these some spray with some WD-40. Here as well, you've got some more self-tapping screws as well to fit everything. They got a little Allen key fit on here as well. And these are the hinges, and these are really well made. And these are these here. Look at these. Okay. So the red goes on the inside, all right? The red goes on the inside. When you see that red tab, they come apart like this, okay? This will be the top, I believe. Then this will be the bottom. And what happens, this rebate here, okay? This rebate here, actually there, that actually sits inside your gate slam, and then you screw through. So we'll explain how they're all gonna come together. And I gotta keep checking, gotta keep going over it. Bits for the handle there, and again, oh yeah, so what we have in here, if you look at these now, we'll get those out in a moment. These are spacers. So when you've got your gate size, okay, if you put these spacers on initially, you can actually pack out, they're little packers basically, okay, but hopefully you get your spacing right and you get your gate correct. So right, we'll explain every bit as we go along. It's got to be said, all these components are of decent quality. When you look at this stainless steel fitting, I mean, it looks good, okay, but it's strong and there's a good finish on it. So quite impressed with that. So you want to pull your plastic, so you don't want it being trapped behind, otherwise it's a nightmare to try and get out. So this is what we're going to use the self tappers straight through there, and let's just get it dead really. Easy height. Let's get one we've got easy access to. Remember, they're self tappers, so you don't be using a hammer drill with these because they'll just snap off. and it's not good at all. So we will use 4. Let's put one in here now. Make sure that it's in the hole there. That's tight to there. There we are. And there's a torque setting. Maybe it'd be a good idea to actually phone up Durapost and ask them about torque settings to ensure that your screw head doesn't break off. It's funny when you teach, when people come along for the first time, some of the younger lads, and they're using these drills, they always over tight, you know. There is a torque setting on here you can set it to, so just take your time. It's all about the finger. There you are. Perfect. That's on there. Actually, we could take this tape off now, but we'll just leave it on there a moment. We've got a shovel there. We don't want it to scratch. Now we're going to put some concrete in there because that's all fitted nicely. So the one thing about postcrete is I'm never sure of it really, because I see people putting it in and not mixing it correctly, and I don't think that's a good thing. You know, and to be honest, it's not so bad here, but we do want this firmly in place. So if you're putting, my suggestion is if you're using postcrete, make sure that you just do a little bit as you go, like that, and just mix it well, because I think a lot of people just put it in dry and it's not good at all really, and it's not setting like it should do. So put a little bit more water in there. You don't want too much water as well, like, you know. So I just I'm never sure of it. I think it works if it's done right, you know. So just make sure that you do it correctly. That'll just hold that leg in place on there. Just get a bit more water. So we've got the post in place, we've got the concrete, we've got it screwed, we've got it fixed, we've got the gate slam on, we've gone through all the components. The only other thing that's left to do now is to get the post in on this side. We put the both posts in, okay, we can put the both posts in, and then we can measure back from there. So right, so what we've got the second post, and we had a bit of a problem. I do want to do a time lapse of me filming breaking out concrete. Didn't have my breaker with me, wasn't good at all. It'd be good to hire one from a hire centre just in case. Check out and survey your land before you actually, your project, before you actually start doing it. Make sure you've got everything on hand, because you want to take full advantage of days like this. So we've got the post in place now, but before the postcrete finally goes off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the second gate slam in position, and this gate slam is actually going to take the hinges. And I know some of you out there are going to say, well, it'd be better if it had been on that side, but in this situation, for my son, he wants a gate opening this way, so you enter the garden there. The combination of the other panels and this and that concrete in, you got to remember that's in the nearly 600 mil in the ground, so it's not going to go anywhere, and it's steel, it's not wood. So got a bit of mud on my mouth there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this plastic off this bit on this case, so you can actually see what's going on. Now, the difference between this gate slam and this gate slam, okay, is that this one has a rebate on here. Look at this one here now. Just have a little look, so it'll help you when you're putting your gate together. There is no recess in here, and there is on this bit, as we showed many times before. We want to make sure it's clear for you. So now it goes this way round. This little rebate here is going to sit against the post. We've marked our line on there. We're going to take a little bit of plastic off the top so it doesn't interfere with our sight up to here, and then we're going to use some self tappers through here, here and here. Yeah. Got the clamp in position now. Oh, I'll just try that again. Let's get it up on that line. and we've got to make sure it's right because I know how fussy my son is. So now we're going to put some self-tappers through there. It would have been ideal to put the clamp to avoid the hole, but this, so I'm going to do is put some. So we're getting this gate slam in place now to the correct height. And I've got to admit, I actually had it on the wrong way around. And this is the thing, it's easily done. You lose concentration, but we've got the right way around now. How I did that, I don't know. Probably because I'm making videos. I should be concentrating on the job. So I'm going to put another one in here now. And we want to do this now while the concrete is, just before the concrete finally goes off. When you hear that bite, you know you got it. So we want to get those in, and I can just make sure that the cut is set in the right place and it's plumb on from both sides. So okay. So I want to make sure that we don't scratch the gate or the working parts of it whatsoever. So I've got a board underneath, I brushed the board off, and I've got these a sheet over the top to make sure that it all stays nice and clean. Look, it's a fantastic product. The last thing you want to do is to actually ruin it because of odd scratches. It's going to scratch if it's on the floor, okay? We can't blame the manufacturer for it. So, as I said, we can't blame the manufacturer for scratches that weren't there before. We can, if they are there, then you can blame them, then you can send it back. But I know that everything's in good condition. I want to keep it clean, so that's why I've put that sheet down and that board to make sure everything stays tidy. Now I've got to have a tidy up of my tools and get all the components over here so we're ready to go. So there you are. We have the components for the initial bit in place. We've got the horizontal, what we call the jam, we got the two uprights, and we got those. Now these, the top and bottom, it doesn't, there's no, as long as that groove there is facing on the inside, and this rebated bit here, you can just see on there, is facing the outside. So that would apply to the top of the gate, which is over here. Now you're going to say, so there we are, there's a rebated bit there, which I've gone on about so many times. That's where we have the concealment strip that goes over the top of it, okay? And how do we know that these long pieces, the vertical pieces, are top and bottom? Simply because of these holes, okay? So if you were adjusting the height of your gate, there's the holes that you cut down in 150 millimeter increments. And of course, this part of the gate has the locking space there to be fitted on that side. I hope I'm making this clear. And if you see on here, there's not so many holes on the bottom on this bit. So you know which is top, you know which is bottom, and you actually know that these pieces here are the same. Now, the thing that confused me when I was doing this were these parts, okay? So these parts, these components are basically the bracket that holds it all together, okay? And they basically feed in, okay, feed in through here, okay? These bits here have to pass from the outside inwards, okay? But first of all, you have to take this plastic piece off. Now, is this top or bottom? But as I said earlier, that this space here is for a cap, so it's got to go on the outside at the bottom of the gate. And on this side, you can see where we put the cap on, and that is to the outside for here. Sorry about the mud, I've dragged it through there. But basically that goes on the outside, the cap goes over the top, and then this bit goes on the inside down here. All will be revealed very shortly. Well, my cameraman's disappeared. Oh, did I? No, I said that earlier on, didn't I? Anyway, my puppy, so proud. My camera's not here, so I'm just going to film this as I go, and you'll be able to see the mistakes I make. And yeah, there you are. So, first of all, what we're going to do So I just remembered what we have to do now. We have to work out the distance, the width of our gate, okay? And we're going to find out what it is. And there's a specific measurement that we actually take off the overall width, which will allow for everything. So now is the time to start assembling the gate. So the thing that we need to get right initially is the opening. So if we measure the opening there, okay, and I've measured the bottom already, so for video purposes, between posts there we have 980 millimeters. 980 millimeters. Now it will show you in the instructions that off that 980 you have to take off 234 millimeters. 980 the opening is, and we have to take it off at 234 millimeters. All will be revealed. So our opening is 980 millimeters, okay? In the instruction it tells us to minus 234. That's going to be the width of the top rail and the base rail. So 980 minus 234 is
746.
746. I've taught him well. 746 millimeters. Okay, so if we add that together, so that would be 7, 8. That'd be 9, 7, not 90, 7, 780. Yeah, exactly. 34 and 46 is 80, and 7 and 2 is 9. So 980 minus 234 is 746 millimeters. So that's going to be the width of our base rail and our top rail and our cuts of our composite in between. So let's get those done now. There we are. So we go over, set this out with it at an angle. You could do this on a chop saw, but it's not necessary, so you have to do it. So just put it on there like that. Let's just bring it up a little bit. I think it'll rest on there. Remember, we're keeping the metal nice and, you know, keeping the plastic on to make sure that we don't damage the metal underneath. Oh my God. I'm going to stop here because I want to show you something, what we can actually do. If you stay on there for a second, and I'm going to just show you what we're doing. You can actually use speed squares for this situation like this. So you can get a speed square. This isn't a speed square, but you can actually run along. There you are. And what I should have done then, I should have had some safety glasses on. So blow that off. Don't rub it with your hand. So we've got that now, 746. Let's get the other one done. Ready? Yeah, I'm handsome, aren't I? We think of that. Anyway, here we are. So as I explained to you in the previous clip, which way these have got to go around. So what we do now is we take these off here, like so. This is what your hinge is going to fit into. So they need to come off. Put your screw there. Make sure you don't lose your screw. Just take these off here now. These are they really go together really well. So what we do now, put those down like that. Now we'll put that's the way it's got to go, okay? Take this one, peel this off, because you won't be able to get those off later, and it's just nothing worse when the plastic sat underneath and you can't get it off. We've taken the screws off. Now this comes out like so. Keep this that way around. We know that's got to go on the inside down there. Now, if we look at these, okay, these slide in here like this. That's the way they're meant to go. There we are there, okay? Do you see that? Very simple. There. Now we're going to put some screws through here and through this side. So now we're going to do this one here. And I'm going to remind you, because we do forget when we're doing these sorts of things, that this bit goes on the inside, like that. That's on the inside. So take these off. Put these to one side. That's the way it's going to be. Try and lay it down in that position. Take these off. Put the plastic on. So the cap inwards like so. And look, let me just show you this. It's got little stops on these, just there. So you can see that's the way it's got to be, all right? So just put those in there like that. Stops. This goes in this way. Now we're going to put the screws in there. So that's locked in now, so we know where we're going. So basically just put, with an HSS, just a nice little pilot hole in that one, and that one, and then you can just put a screw for that in place. Don't over tighten because they will snap. So that's done. That can go. Now what we have to do, we have to put the handle on. Right. Do this one I go. I always use these if I can, because with my eyesight I can actually spot them. So what we need to do, take this little lug nut out, if you call it that. Don't lose this. I lost one on the other job. There you are. Got that one there. Now you can put the bar in here like so. See the slot there? That's what the screw's going to go into. So put that in there now like this. You can just be able to see through there where you see the actual cut. So once we've found it and located it, hold it in position. There I just dropped it. Then this can go back in place. This must be nice and tight and firm. So there we are, get that one in place. So helpful when you have these sorts of videos and try and explain everything in detail. As much as you can so everyone understands, because I just get lost with it. I'm terrible with IKEA furniture, I can tell you that now. So there you are. Let's just do that up a little bit more, and then we're going to do the same the other side, but let's put that in place now. There we are, that's in place. We're going to lock that in after, but we need the other one out now. So just same thing again, just give it a lock. It's off. It's as simple as that. So there we are again. There's the locking nut. Let me just show you again on there. There you are. You can see it on there. Now we're going to get this like this. There we are. That's just have to take it out all the way. Get this one in position. It fits over the top on there. There you are. Make sure that's in tight. Get the lug nut in place. It's been a long day. There you go. Make sure these are tight, as I said. You just got to make sure that as tight as it can go. Right, now, well, there you are. The gate's done. It's completed, and it's looking good. I've done a good job of it. My son didn't do much. No, he did. He was there. He helped me. His hands got cold because he's not used to the daily grind. But there we are. That is the urban composite gate from Durapost. I never showed the rest of it happening in progress, simply because it was getting dark and my son had to go to M&S. For some of you out there, that's Marks and Spencer's. Now I'm off now because I've got to have a rest.